What's up everyone, Drunken Phoenix here with another video. So today I'm going to be reacting to people talking about a lot of the big layoffs happening. It's very unfortunate, for the past few years as, with the advancement of technology as well as the growing greed with a lot of big corporations, human capital has been something that's been more and more devalued, and a lot of companies and just corporations, they find it a lot cheaper to just lay people off and have AI replace them, or just have a smaller workforce and work the hell out the few people they do have. But yeah, so it's really unfortunate. Layoffs were going on for a while and they just seem to be getting worse. It doesn't appear that the current administration is going to change anything. In fact, they're not doing anything but advancing the layoffs, and it's very unfortunate, because there's not a lot of, finding a job is not as easy as it used to be. It is a lot tougher, a lot more competition, and it seems like there's not just enough jobs available for a lot of people. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started.
Got laid off, and here's what I wish more people talked about. There's no warning. One day you're in your meetings, working, the next day you're just off the org chart. Even when you know it's not about your performance, you're still left there wondering why and what you did wrong. Then you're left in survival mode. You're left there wondering about housing, food, cost, and you just start doing the math. Then you spend hours tailoring your resume, making sure that cover letter is all right, just to not get heard from and ghosted. If you've been laid off recently, you're not alone, and you're not the problem. The system is cold, but we don't have to be.
So I wanted to include this video because I think, especially with a lot of the cuts in federal funding and with so many federal jobs losing funding, and just how this current, not just this administration, but this administration especially, as well as just, prior administrations, when they look at, it's like when people talk about the unemployment rate and layoffs and things, it's spoken in just such metric terms. But I think a lot of people, like a lot of our politicians especially, and people that are just, even just people that are fortunate to have a job that's not laid off, they don't realize that, for every one layoff, that is a human being that has lost their livelihood. And, not only do they have to deal with, the fact that they don't have a job anymore, and they have to think about how are they going to pay their bills, how are they going to eat, how are they going to survive. But there's a very big emotional aspect to it, just the madness of having to prepare a resume and just keep applying to so many jobs and not hearing back, or hearing back sometimes but then being ghosted after hearing back, and just it's a really big toll on people. So I think this kind of humanizes it, or kind of humanize the people that do get laid off, because I feel like in so many, especially with this administration, where they talk about people federal jobs getting cut and just so many people losing their job, and they use this propaganda saying, oh, those jobs were useless or blah blah blah. This is not meant to be political, but regardless, that is still someone's livelihood, and that is still a human being that is not going to be able to provide for themselves, and it's just going to be a very difficult time for people. So I just think this just humanizes people.
Well, second time in a year, almost a year to the day, I got laid off again, twice in a year. And what the fuck? What is anyone supposed to do? And they said, because of the economy is crap right now, so we're gonna lay off a whole bunch of people again. And I already was struggling so hard, actually low-key, to even keep the current roof over my head. And now I have no idea how I'm even going to get through the next few hours. I just don't understand. But yeah, the economy is shit. America is shit right now. I feel like there's a really big plan for them to, tank this, so that we have to rely on other things, other people. It's fucking shit. And I'm quite frankly tired of it. I'm tired of my livelihood being in other people's hands. And I have no idea how to fix that, but I'm going to, because this is just wild, and I'm fucking angry more than I am hurt or sad. I'm scared. I have no idea where any of my bills are gonna come from, or the money. I'm more angry than anything because I just cannot even believe I used to be able to get a job like the week later if I got laid off. So I have no idea what's gonna happen, and I was really hoping at one point I would make money on TikTok, and I still only have 1,500 followers or whatever. So if you could just blow this up and let's get 10,000 followers plus whatever, because I might be homeless in a week or two if I can't figure it out. So yeah, I hope everyone is having a great Tuesday, a way better Tuesday than me. And if you have any tips, tricks, or whatever to help right now and get me through this, greatly appreciated. Yeah.
So I wanted to include this video because I thought this was an interesting point. I feel like people that are fortunate to have jobs, they get into this, not everyone, but a lot of people get too comfortable. And what's interesting about this is that she was laid off twice. So even after getting a second job, after being laid off, she got laid off again. And I think this should just be, just used as a testament that, no job is safe. And, never get too comfortable. Always have a backup plan. Maybe get some kind of side hustle going. Just figure out a way to get multiple streams of income, and just always know that, just don't get too comfortable, and just be, happy if you do have a job, and just never get to the mindset that it can't happen to you, because it can happen to anybody.
After getting laid off from big tech, here are the 3 signs that I saw that signaled a layoff. Hi, I'm Gabby. I'm a technical recruiter. I've worked with big tech for the past 10 years. I got laid off back in 2023, and here are some of the signs that I saw or should have seen that signaled a layoff. So the first thing that I saw was kind of a mass overhiring in every different team. This company was scaling, was growing. It was 2021. Everyone had money to spare. Everyone was getting hired kind of thing. And it felt like the norm. But now I look back on it, they scale and grew so much in 2 to 3 years that it totally signaled a layoff down the line when things weren't going as well. So mass overhirings, I would definitely be wary of, and just keep your signals out. Second thing I would look for, and this kind of sounds obvious, is a slowdown in your core work. If your core work kind of ceases to exist, you get pivoted to a new project, you start doing weird projects that have no, end game, I would definitely start updating your resume. In recruiting, our headcount got slashed. We weren't hiring as many people. We started doing weird project work for process improvement. As a recruiter, if I'm not hiring people, I'm not doing my job. And it makes me start feeling a little uncomfy that my job function is not necessary for the company. So if you start feeling like that, definitely update your resume and just be aware of the situation. What I would also look out for is a ton of team restructurings. My team was probably restructured 2 or 3 times. And what this means is that the business is allocating the resources from one team that isn't as a priority to another team that's a higher priority. That's what a restructure is. So if you're part of a bunch of restructuring, sometimes that doesn't mean a layoff. Restructures do happen all the time, but it could signal a layoff. What I would also recommend is keep your ear to the ground and what's getting posted online about your company, if you're part of a big tech company. What I saw is that there was definitely nuggets posted online about my company, about a potential layoff, that I kind of was like, nah, that's never gonna happen, but it actually ended up happening. So take stuff with a grain of salt, but also be prepared if your company starts getting in the headlines of potential layoff. This is gonna happen. I would get ready no matter what. It does not hurt to get ready. More of the story is that you have to stay ready. Doesn't matter if you've been at the company for 11 years or 6 months. Keep your resume updated with your projects that you're working on. Keep your LinkedIn updated. Maintain your network. What we've seen in the last few years is that anyone is susceptible to layoffs. So stay ready. So if and when that does happen to you, you can get that job super quickly.
Yeah, I thought that was a really insightful video. I can say, but yeah, that a lot of the things that she said, or everything she said, is true. Like, if you ever notice that, and I think this is one that is like, it confuses a lot of people. Whenever there's like a lot of big mass hirings, it initially looks like the company's doing good. There's like a lot of growth, and that you would think that's a good thing, that people are getting hired. But I can say, just from things that I've seen in my life, that could not, it's not always a red flag, but like she said, it is something to be wary of, because oftentimes there are several companies that have these trends of where they do mass hirings and then mass layoffs happen like maybe like a year later. So that is a real thing. It doesn't make much sense. You would think that a lot of companies would know how to allocate their resources, allocate everyone to their job, or not overestimate how many people they hire just to lay them off like not too far later. So that's something to keep be wary of. And yeah, and I think just also like what she said at the end, really no one's safe. Like, you could be at a company for 11 years or 6 months, but if it comes down to it, if the company needs to save money, or if the business is just not coming in, anyone can be laid off, and it's very unfortunate. So that's why it's really important to have a really solid network, and really work on your brand and just your skill set, and just always be ready to, or always have a plan B, I should say.
Federal employee, or thinking about becoming one, stop scrolling and listen closely, because the landscape for government jobs in 2025 is not what it used to be. Between rising inflation, constant political battles, looming budget cuts, and fears of layoffs, things have never felt more uncertain. You've probably asked yourself questions like, is working for the government even worth it anymore? What happens if there's another shutdown or a hiring freeze? Are my pension and TSP really secure? I get it. I've been there myself. I'm a federal employee, just like many of you, but I'm also a real estate investor and financial independence advocate who's been tracking these issues closely. And today, I'm pulling back the curtain and revealing the full truth about government jobs in 2025. Everything most people aren't telling you.
Being the bearer of bad news really is not my favorite thing to do, but it's been in the headlines lately, so I figured I might as well post about it. Microsoft just announced that they wanted to lay off another few thousand employees by the start of July, and it's not the same employees that they've been laying off as of lately. Microsoft's last round of layoffs were about 6,000 people, and it was primarily software engineers or product management type of jobs, whereas this next round of layoffs, they said it was going to be for primarily salespeople. So now Microsoft is doing this, Amazon has been doing this, Facebook. I just made a video like 5 minutes ago about how Bumble has been doing this, and Hinge as well. And so this seems to be like a kind of a growing trend where companies, at least the sentiment is that having a bigger team and hiring a bunch of people, whereas it used to be a sign of a growing company and a successful company, now it seems to be more of a sign of like a slow company, and it's almost more of a detriment. The consensus sentiment seemed to be that software engineering type of jobs would be the first ones to take big hits from AI, but it seems like now even sales jobs are.
Yeah, so yeah, that was for this July that's coming up. So I think did he say Microsoft? I think he said either Microsoft or Google, but yeah, there are going to be a lot more layoffs coming soon. So you guys, my best advice is just never get too comfortable, and just look for any signs. And I guess the thing that's the most interesting to me, like he said, they're coming for the sales jobs this time, but I'm still kind of blown away that a lot of like people in tech are getting laid off, because not too long ago when I was in school, that was the thing to get into, like, learn engineering, learn computer science, that was like the stable field. But now it's just, they're the main ones getting cut, and I feel bad for them. But yeah, so let me know what you all think in the comment section. What do you think is going to happen down the line? Like, it seems like so many people are getting laid off and are not able to find jobs. So what is going to be next for Americans? Like, what is going to be the end goal? Because it seems like with the rise of AI and just a lot of corporate greed, it just seems like a lot of people are going to be left with no jobs. And so what do you guys think is going to be the next paradigm shift? Like, what is going to be the new thing? Like, how are people going to make money? Because I am very curious, just with all the layoffs as well as the higher cost of living and just everything just going to shit right now. So yeah, let me know what you all think in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next video.